Great. Now let's get down to the firm level for a minute. This is from Clay Christensen and his colleagues back in 2008 in the Harvard Business Review. Had this wonderful uh, uh, article that talked about how financial tools are stopping innovation growth. And this to me highlights a couple of really important things, and we'll add to it. So you see on the top level here, it's the projected cash stream from investing in innovation. We've all seen these, may have a hockey stick to it, may not, right? That's A as it goes up and up and up. Now, B is the assumed cash stream from doing nothing. But anyone who thinks about it a bit or looks at the numbers over time, as any investor would, is you see a fade rate, right? Unless you keep reinvesting, you fade back down to the normal return at a company level and then within a market as well, right? You can't unless you have monopolistic power or any number of certain unique dynamics. You're going to see competition. And so the more likely cash stream is actually not B, which is assumed to be flat, but C. So when people go for money and they look at discounted cash flow or net present value, it assumes the comparison between B and A. That is between the steady cash stream of today and the projected cash stream. And as Niccolo Machiavelli said so long ago in The Prince, he said, there's nothing harder, and I'm paraphrasing, there's nothing harder to do than something new, because the people who have the established thing point to the stable, and the people who are doing the new thing, if they're honest, say it's contingent. It's got some uncertainty in it. So you have the stable versus the contingent, and then you have this, B cash stream, which is empirically total madness. But this is how we do it, right? The comparison they should be making, they make the point in this article, is over here on the right, which is between the degraded, the naturally degraded C cash flow and A, which is the potential. And as Ted Levitt said so brilliantly in his book, The Marketing Imagination, he said the natural tendency toward all relationships, including marriage, is toward degradation. So C is a natural phenomenon, right? That just happens. When it doesn't happen, it's rare and weird or has something else to do with things. So think about the microstructure of what's going on, and it's wrong, okay? So now I'd like to introduce time. This article talks less about time. Rob and I are really interested in matching time to value. And so what I'd like to do now is to have a poll where we can look at what is the time frame that is typical in your organization, or if you're an investor, when you think about investing, when you look at a business case, how long is it before there's payoff? What is the typical payoff time frame? 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, or 7 years? So folks could do that, could look at that. That would be great. And we'll come back to that in a minute. Okay, no, sounds good. I think. Submit. Okay.
Got quite a battle going on.
Yeah, this is great.
The votes coming in. John, it's interesting. While people are voting, and the idea
Yes.
of when you think about innovation, you think about this chart. It's interesting because sometimes people miss the idea that sometimes innovation, if innovation keeps your cash flows the same, is incredibly powerful, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times when you look at companies that are great innovators, in the way that we look at them in terms of return on assets and return and sustained profitability, it's the companies that consistently innovate well have flat ROAs. It's not that their ROAs shoot off like rocket ships. It's that they have high returns above their cost of capital. 20, for instance, like Facebook, right? 40 or 60% returns. The fact that they're able to persist is what innovation is. And
Right.
when you miss that picture of the fact that,
Yes.
right, it's what would the decline likely be without, you're missing the understanding of really correctly judging how good that innovation is also.